Even Aisha Buhari said it. Well, the husband is dead. They all pretended as if they didn't know. And we know that Buhari is dead. And when that very issue erupts the way and manner it would, later on in the coming weeks and months, the zoo cannot contain the fallout. That is number one. Number two is that everybody keeps talking about there seems to be no government, there is no direction because Buhari is not there. That is why you have no direction. That is why the country seems to be drifting. That is why there is no sense of purpose, no cohesion, because there is no Buhari. So what you have are competing interests and ideas from the Fulani cabal that is ruling the zoo, ruling all of you. You know that little boy is not Buhari, everybody knows that. How many Buharis are you going to have before you begin to reason and begin to think? When I said it, they said it was conspiracy theory, and I said with time, today people are coming out to confirm what we have always known. What we have always known, that Buhari is dead. That is why you have what is called a drift in the government. That is why there is no clear focus, there is no clear-cut direction, not at all. If not that I talked about Aisha Buhari in my last broadcast, I wouldn't have brought her out today to speak. And she only issued a statement. Nobody saw her. She's in Dubai having fun with her boyfriend, your first lady. And I asked them, in whose reign or regime in Nigeria or anywhere else in the world do you have a first lady missing in office? Only in Nigeria. But you as a Nigerian cannot ask any questions because of the way you reason. The problem you have as a Nigerian is in your brain. The way you reason is flawed. Ask yourself this question. If this woman's husband is alive, what is she doing in Dubai? And with who in Dubai? Simple question. But you can't ask yourself that question because you're a Nigerian. Sometimes you don't reason very well. It is not meant to be an insult. I'm just telling you the fact of life. Buhari is no longer alive.
Breaking news. Former President Muhammadu Buhari has just been reportedly dead. Official statement describe his death as resulting from a prolonged illness and do not specify any further details about the nature of his condition. Earlier in January, of course, reports mentioned he was admitted to ICU and dealing with undisclosed illness, possibly related to his advanced age, but again, nothing was specifically mentioned. Welcome back to this channel. This is a better perspective. Today's story is not the one that brings joy or excitement to you, though the reverse is the case to some other persons. Inevitable reality of life has just hit the former president, a man whose name echoed across decades of Nigerian political evolution is no more. Whether you saw him as a military disciplinarian, a civilian reformer, or polarizing figure in national leadership, one thing is very certain: he shaped Nigerian politics for over 40 years. I mean, that is very unimaginable. And so in this video, we will reflect not just on the news of his passing, but on the journey of a man who once ruled with a military iron fist and later returned with democratic legitimacy. This is the story of Muhammadu Buhari. Buhari was born on December 17th, 1942 in Daura, Katsina State, into a Fulani Muslim family. From humble beginning, he grew through the ranks of Nigerian army, trained in the UK, India, and the US, eventually becoming a major general. But his first major spotlight came in 1983, when he led a military coup that overthrew the civilian government of President Shehu Shagari. Buhari, then in his early 40s, was seen as a man of order. His regime declared a war against indiscipline, a crackdown on corruption, lateness, and civil disorder, actually praised by some and feared by others. His rule as a military head of state, starting from 1983 to 1985, was short-lived. Another coup actually sent him into detention, out of power, but not out of the hearts of many Nigerians who believed in him as of that time. So years passed, but Buhari didn't disappear. So in 2003, he entered the race under the All Nigerian People's Party, that is ANPP. He also tried again in 2007 and again in 2011. Still, he lost, respectively. But the fourth time was different. In 2015, Buhari made history, becoming the first opposition candidate to defeat a sitting president, Jonathan. Nigerians from all walks of life, especially the youth, believed in his anti-corruption promises. They believed in the change which he yearned during the campaign. But the Buhari of democracy faced Nigeria far more complex than the one he once ruled by degree. From economic instability, rising insecurity, and the NSAS movement, Buhari's tenure was deeply polarizing indeed. And to some, he was a patriot trying to fix a broken nation. To others, he represented stagnation, silence, and unfulfilled promises. Buhari left office in May 2023, handing over to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But since then, he had retreated to his Daura residence, occasionally speaking on national matters, but largely removed from the public eyes. Now he is gone. The man who lived as a soldier, ruler, politician, and historical figure is no longer with us. We go back to Nnamdi Kanu's explosive claim that shocked Nigerians and global community. Sometime around late 2017, the political landscape of Nigeria was tense. Buhari had just returned from a long medical stay in London, and there were growing whispers, fears, concern about his health. Then came the bombshell from Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, who claimed boldly and repeatedly that the real Buhari had died in London back then in 2017, and that the person occupying Aso Rock was actually a cloned man from Sudan, whom he called Jubril Sudani. And then this very word actually echoed across the diaspora. And they said, Buhari is dead. They replaced him with a clone. That is not your president. That is Jibril from Sudan. Many dismiss the claim as propaganda, Biafra agitations gone too far. But some, especially those in IPOB cycles, believed it deeply. They pointed out some changes in Buhari's appearance, his voice, his gait, even how he signed documents, his ear, and all sorts. So the government then flatly denied it. Garba Shehu, Buhari's media aide, laughed off it. Buhari himself even joked about it in Poland, saying, "Some people thought I was cloned. It's the real me, I assure you." That is what he said at some point. So right now, Nigerians are asking, wait, if he's dead now, when exactly did he die? Like, that is the question every Nigerians are actually curious to get the answers for. Let's get this analyzed. The resurfacing of Kanu's 2017 allegation brings new hate to an old fire. Those who once mocked the theory now wonder, was there some truth buried in the madness? But let's pause and separate the emotion from evidence. There's still no verifiable news or proof that Buhari died in 2017. No credible documents, image, or diplomatic leak ever confirmed that. But what Nnamdi Kanu succeeded in doing was creating doubts, which stayed in the minds of millions. His claim became a symbol of distrust in government transparency, and now, years later, with Buhari truly dead, so the conspiracy doesn't feel as crazy to some. So what does this all mean, and what should Nigerians believe? Did Nnamdi Kanu predict the death of Buhari, or did he simply ride on political uncertainty to push a narrative? Did Nigeria fail to address the transparency gap that gave rise to such explosive claim? Let's also not forget this very tweet that actually got a lot of Nigerians into a state of confusion, or should I say into condemning Buhari, where Buhari tweeted that Igbos should be treated with the language they understand, and Nigerians tackled him over the statement, citing his reference to Nigerian civil war, in which millions of Nigerians, mostly the Igbos, were actually unalived. And they saw it as a threat to commit human rights violations. So the question now is, now that Buhari is no more, will that silence the conspiracy or only make it louder? Here's the truth. In Nigeria, distrust is very fertile soil for conspiracy. When government hides the truth or delays critical information, especially about leaders' health, speculations fills the silence. And in that silence, people like Kanu find their loudest voice, and they will take advantage of it. So former President Buhari is gone. That is no longer in doubt. But the shadows cast by the Jubril from Sudan theory will likely remain part of Nigeria's complex political history. You should just give that to Kanu. As always, the truth is somewhere in between what we are told, what we see, what we believe, and probably what we do not know. If you found this breakdown useful, insightful, or thoughtful, please subscribe, like, and share this video. This is not just about one man's death. It's about how nations remember, question, and write history. Thank you for watching, and may truth always find its way to surface before the public.